Good morning, everyone. I was just waiting for the participants to come into the webinar, but thank you very much for joining us, whatever the time of day is for you. I'm Helen Mandel. I'm the Deputy Secretary General and I'm joined by Alain Zayan and Piotr Lapo, but we'll introduce ourselves a little bit later. In terms of this webinar, just to let you know that it is being recorded and that if you would like to and need it, down in the bottom of your screen, there is a More button, and under the More button, you can get captions. So if you need this translated into your language or captions for us speaking, if that would help your comprehension, please use those buttons to help you get those captions. But let's go into the webinar, and I'm going to share some slides, so bear with me. Okay. Today, as I said, I'm joined by Alain Zayan, who is our Conference and Events Manager, and Piotr Lapo from the Astana National Committee. So thank you to them for joining us today. What we're trying to do today is to maximize the time so that you get as much information about WLIC in Astana, an understanding of Kazakhstan. So we have a slide deck, but we're also going to have some discussion with Piotr in particular, as he's living in Kazakhstan. And there'll be plenty of time for your questions at the end. So please also use the chat function. You can use the chat to let us know where you're from, because that would be interesting for us, but also the Q&A function to put any questions. So if you hear something as we go through the presentations and you'd like to know more, put your question in the Q&A and we'll come to those at the end. And we will try and kind of make sure that everyone's questions get answered. So what we're going to try and cover is about where we're going there, how to get there. We know that people have had questions about visas and flights, a little bit about the Congress program, which we're putting together now, but also how you can get involved. What opportunities are there for you to do a poster, be a speaker, get a grant? Alain will be taking you through the Congress website and pointing out some of the places for information. And we'll get that personal outlook on Astana from Piotr and your questions. So I'm going to stop that sharing and let's share a bit about where we're going.
I can't wait anymore. Tell me where we are going.
It's a surprise.
Can you give me a hint at least?
Well, a poet might say there's a harmony in the wind and sweet smell of wild flowers.
New Zealand?
No. We'll listen to the amazing melody of the open desert.
We're going on a Sahara adventure. Another
clue. We'll ski the slopes of beautiful mountains.
Are we going to the French Alps?
Nice try, but no. We'll visit a world where magical rocks rise up against time.
Traveling across Arizona?
Guess again. At night, we'll explore the wild party atmosphere of a pulsating and dynamic city.
Is it partying all night in a city like Shanghai?
No, but you'll love the peace and tranquility of rich forests and crystal lakes.
Going on an adventure across Switzerland?
No, darling. you'll watch the sun's rays light up stunning red caves.
So where are we going?
USA?
Canada? Africa?
Enjoy your trip to Kazakhstan.
So if you were with us last year in Brisbane for the IFLA Information Futures Summit, we showed that video, but if you haven't seen it, it gives you a teaser and a taster of Kazakhstan, which is an incredibly diverse country. And as you can see there, it has all different types of landscapes. And for those who haven't been to Central Asia before, it may very well be worth your thinking about having something at the end of your trip and a little bit of time to travel in Kazakhstan or through the other countries in the region. So let me go back to our presentation. So just some information about Kazakhstan. It is situated at the historical crossroads. So really the Silk Road ran through there. So there have always been trade, transport, people moving through the country. It sits in Central Asia, really one of the largest countries in the region, bordered by China, Russia, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, and the Caspian Sea. So when you see it on a map, it's very centrally there. It is a former Soviet republic, but it's been independent since 1991. And I think in general, from what we experienced, they're very fiercely independent now, very proud of their culture and wanting to move on as their own country. Some people may still know Kazakhstan as the location for the Baikonur spaceport, as many rockets are shot into space from Cape Canaveral, and a large number, particularly commercial satellites and other rockets, go up from Baikonur. So it's one of the claims to fame for Kazakhstan. And as we said, and you saw in that video, it's very geographically and geologically diverse, with mountains, plains, deserts in different parts of the country. It has around 20 million inhabitants, and it's very multi-ethnic. Kazakhs represent around 70%, but because of this movement of people either through across Kazakhstan or to Kazakhstan, historically many people were exiled there or sent there against their will, but that's meant that there are now very diverse populations, and it's a big melting pot of people. It's multilingual. Kazakh is the official language, although Russian is widely used as well. And many of the neighbors, although they will have their own languages from their historical past, also speak Russian. So it's often used as a common language across the region. And it's multi-religious. It is predominantly Muslim, about 70% Muslim, but also Orthodox, Christian, Buddhist, and other religions. And although there are mosques around the city, it's not a place where you feel that religion is imposed, but it is part of the nation. It's Astana in particular is wonderfully diverse, full of a lot of great architecture that's been built in the last 30 years or since their independence, through many of the world's most famous architects, people like Norman Foster, some of the Japanese architects, and really from across the world came to Astana to help build their new capital. Astana has been the capital since 1997. On this map, you can see that Almaty in the south was the former capital and still is the biggest city. But Astana has become is really the capital for the government, for a lot of business as well. And it's a growing city, and it's being built as it grows as well. It was always a town founded around the 8th century, and some may remember that it was briefly named after the president and called Nur Sultan. But this only lasted for around 2 years, and then in 2022 it went back to being Astana. The city symbol is the Baitarek, or the Tree of Life, which you see in our logo for the conference as well. And it's a fascinating city because Astana combines this old and the new. On one side of the river is a lot of the older town, more kind of Soviet architecture and old buildings. And on the other side of the river, this very, very modern new city that's arising. And this is the Baitarek. It's a tower that you can go up, and you get great views of the city from the top of the tower. And it's a very imposing structure that you'll see everywhere. Okay, let me stop there, and I'll come back now to Piotr. You're on the National Committee, and we're very privileged to have you helping us. If you'd like to unmute yourself. You've lived in Astana. What do you think some of the things are that visitors should try and see during their time there?
Okay, first of all, I would like to say that I am from Belarus, and I moved to Kazakhstan 10 years ago. And I would like to say that previously I was the director of the Russian State University library in Belarus for 15 years. And also, once Belarus and Kazakhstan were republics of the United Soviet Union for more than 70 years. The Belarusians and Kazakh were called that time the United Soviet People. But we knew little about the history and culture of each other. And I was curious to learn more about the history and culture of Kazakhs, who were nomads for a long period of time, and whose dominant religion is Islam. Of course, that has been very different from my cultural and historical backgrounds as a Belarusian. If I would like to note about the strongest, first and strongest impressions about Astana. The first is, of course, leaf palm trees in the atrium of the Nazarbayev University main building. Then the Gold Hall in the National Museum of the Republic of Kazakhstan, because I realize there how rich and ancient culture of Kazakh people. Then richly decorated and excellently performing Astana Opera Theater. I advise to visit, if you will have chance, this theater, because very interesting performances you can see there. The impressive architecture of the new left bank part of Astana with different architectural styles. And fourth, I would stress a very strong wind, which is inherent in Astana and can be its symbol, and the symbol of dynamism and the permanent changes that occur in the city landscape. By the way, in the video you saw, also it's stressed this dynamic nature of the Kazakhstan and Astana city. Yes, also I would like to say that I love people, Kazakh people, who are very open for communication, very kind, very supportive. So I would also stress good public transportation in the city, many places for relaxation. For example, in August, you can use open air cafeteria and restaurants and other facilities. So I think your staying in Kazakhstan will be productive and pleasant.
Thank you, Peter. I think I'd agree that there's this incredible ancient culture from the nomads, and also the National Museum, which is in the center of Astana, is a fabulous museum with some extraordinary displays, particularly this gold hall of ancient gold that was recovered actually very recently. And it's a nice city in summer to be able to walk around and to be out in many of the parks and gardens and along the riverbank. People really take advantage of the good weather to be outside. And August, when we'll be there, is kind of warm, but nicely warmer in the low to mid 20s. So it's not going to be really hot, but just very pleasant to be outdoors and about. What do you think that delegates will find interesting about the library environment in Kazakhstan?
I think the most important feature of Kazakhstani librarianship at present is the state of transition from traditional libraries, more focused on printed collections, to digital libraries with focus on international license and open databases, providing virtual services, information library services, also support research activities, because recently a big part of Kazakhstani universities are transferring to be research universities. So our libraries should transform themselves to be correspondent the new, challenges of the contemporary librarianship.
And following on from that, what do those librarians, you and the people on the National Committee, hope that WLIC will bring to Kazakhstan and to the profession there?
I think, in my opinion, the most benefits to conduct WLIC in Astana is to make library activities in Kazakhstan more international, to involve Kazakhstani library community in international agenda on different directions. It's, of course, access to information, linking data, and the new approaches to enhance library services in Kazakhstan. Unfortunately, Kazakhstani librarians lack of English, but I think conducting the WLIC in Astana will increase their interest to learn English language, and of course take professional information firsthand. Understand me?
Yes.
So
yeah.
internationalization of librarianship in Kazakhstan now the most important and urgent issue.
Thank you. Okay, well, that's a little bit more about Astana and Kazakhstan and what's happening there. But if you'd like to have any other questions, please put them in the Q&A and we'll come back. But let's go back to our slide deck. Just a moment. So one of the things that many people have asked about are visas, because we saw that when we had the Congress in Europe for the last few years, a number of people were not able to get visas into the Schengen zone and to come to Europe. So Kazakhstan is very open. It has a lot of visa-free travel, which means you can just fly in and get a visa and a stamp on arrival. So with no cost, you just fly in. So look at the website, and there's a list of over 80 countries where that is possible. There are countries that will require a visa, but we have extensive information on the website about how to get a visa and specific help where you can ask for a letter from the National Tourism Organization. And this will be a special invitation indicating that you're coming to the conference, and you attach that letter to your visa application, and it should help you get through the visa requirements. So it's all there in great detail. Please have a look. Traveling there is another thing. I think we had some people say at the very beginning, oh, it's horrendously expensive. It will be if you put your favorite airline into a search hub or search engine and try and find a trip with your favorite airline that doesn't actually fly to Astana, and it will give you roundabout routes that might take 40 or 50 hours and at a horrendous price. This is all wrong. Kazakhstan is a central hub in the region. There are many international connections, but it's very likely that you will need to go through one of these hubs. For instance, from Amsterdam, where we're based at IFLA, we can fly directly at a higher cost, or through Germany actually, and then at a higher cost. But at a lower cost, we can fly via Istanbul and then have a connection to Astana. So we've outlined all of this also on the Congress website. We ask that you check and see how you can fly via one of the logical hubs for your region, and that you may need to book 2 flights that might end up being a less expensive option for you. But please have a look at the website because the information is there to assist. So let's talk about the Congress itself. In this image, the Congress Center is this round building here towards the left. It's very large and new, and it's part of a new park area that was used, I think, for the expo originally. And next door to it is the Hilton Hotel. So we will be holding sessions and business meetings in both buildings, but it's really just a 3-minute walk between the buildings. Down here on the left, which is probably a 5-minute walk from the Congress Center, is the Mega Silkway shopping mall. So this has a lot of options for eating, restaurants, cafes, as well as your normal shops and shopping centers. So this is kind of where the location is. The Congress outline is very much like previous congresses, if you've attended. We really start on the Sunday with many of the business meetings that will happen for IFLA's committees, and caucus meetings, which are meetings of language groups or various country or regional groups as well. And that gives people a chance to meet before the Congress, to get to know who's there from your region or who speaks your language, and that you can, possibly be in contact with throughout the Congress. We then have 4 days of sessions, and on the 5th day, Friday, are the library visits. And we have a number of libraries across Kazakhstan, different groups who have offered to hold tours and to show you around their libraries. We will have things like the cultural evening and the exhibition opening, as well as events for you to attend. So this is generally what it looks like. We have satellite meetings. So these are meetings that really can focus on a particular topic. And there are a number of them happening before the conference and one which is happening after the conference. We have the business meetings and the Congress sessions and the IFLA General Assembly, which is our annual general meeting for members, will be held on the Wednesday afternoon. We have a number of events where we hope to showcase some of the aspects of Kazakh culture in the exhibition opening and the cultural evening, but we also hope to have some displays within the exhibition where you can learn about a little bit more from craftspeople about culture and artistic endeavors in Kazakhstan. We hope to offer some breakfast symposia from exhibitors who want to showcase some of their products. And of course, we'll have the poster sessions. Here's another little architectural gem, the bridge over the river, which is really something, particularly at night when it's lit up. It's a kind of a snake across the river, but very interesting to walk through and be part of. And just some practical information. We will have a conference app. It will have the program on it and allow you to reach out to other delegates and connect with them, but it will also be used for simultaneous interpretation. So as you know, IFLA has 7 official languages, and if people are using one of those languages to speak, you'll be able to use your phone to get a translation of what they're saying or to hear a translation of what they're saying. So it will be important that you bring a device, a phone or laptop or tablet to the conference. For accommodation, while the Hilton Hotel is nearby, there are also a range of hotels throughout Astana. You can use a conference hotel, but you're also very welcome to book your own. And many people like to try and find a serviced apartment or other accommodation that might suit them. And as Piotr said, the public transport is very good. There are buses to the back of the shopping mall that go regularly. And also there is taxis and an Uber kind of service as well, where you can book a taxi via an app. Credit cards are accepted everywhere, but probably not your debit card. So just think about that. And the Kazakh currency, the tenge, can also be, you can get notes out of machines that are everywhere, including in the shopping mall. The last thing from me at this point, how to get involved. We have a lot of information out at the moment, so calls for satellite meeting speakers. There are calls for grants, for poster presenters, and we've been approving a lot of the open sessions that different committees will be running, and they are starting to put their calls for speakers on the website. And so you need to look out for those if you're looking for an opportunity to be a speaker and to let us know about what's happening in your workplace. So let me stop sharing there and I'll pass back to Alain to take you through the website.
Thank you very much, Helen. Hello, everybody. I'm gonna share my screen as well. Can you see my screen? Yeah. So we have the website, of course, for our WLIC 2025. The website, of course, is being built as per we go. So the information that we upload there are constantly evolving, but we already have quite some important things in there. So please just feel free to go and check all the different tables that we are going now to go through. We have 6 tables that you can see here. Every table has a specific function. First table is more general. It's about WLIC. You have the welcome message from the committee, information, practical information about Kazakhstan and about history of Kazakhstan, how you can register to become a volunteer. I think you still have a few days to register. So if you want to get involved and get the free registrations while you're helping, that's the place where you can go and apply. The different venues that we have already seen a little bit with Helen, the outlines as well of the Congress and different communication materials, in particular some logos that you can use. The second table is a very important table. Of course, it's the registration table where you find the page. I don't know if I can close that one. You have the information page where you can register. You click there and you get the registration form. Then you have also different information about the fees, early bird, very important. Early bird, I think, is finishing on 15th of May. So please don't hesitate to register before that. For all the people that are from the region, from Kazakhstan and the five countries around Kazakhstan, they have a permanent early bird discount. People from the region attend the Congress. So that's all the proper information are there. And also you have a tab with a letter invitation. This is also an important thing. If you need a letter for your employer or for any other administration, you can click there and it's an autofill letter. You fill with your data and the letter will be sent to you and you can use it for whatever you need to use. Third tab is the program. Again, we have seen a little bit the outline. You have all the proper information here that you need for the call for papers, for the call for posters also, that's still going on. The different guidelines for the author's permission, all the practical information regarding all these calls. The library visits that we are building, the committee is almost done with the library visit. We're going to upload that very soon. The different satellite meetings are already appearing there. We have the 7 satellite meetings, one of them in Almaty. The grants and awards also, some of them are already expired, but otherwise we have many grants and many awards. Watch out with the dates because it's 28th of March. This is important because we give 25 grants out, but there are different kinds of grants. So please go through. You still have a couple of days to do that and to apply if it fits you. And this is a way for us to help people attend the Congress. You have another tab here with the different sponsors, the sponsor opportunity. If you know people who want to sponsor, or if you want yourself to sponsor, you can get all the information there. Tab for travel, obviously very important. What we say, the visa information. The Kazakh authorities are doing everything to make the travel to Kazakhstan easy. They're very open. So 80, as we said, 80 countries are visa free. But if you need a visa, follow the steps that are described here. It's very clear. But basically, the Kazakh tourism will help us facilitate the visa. So the first action is sending information to the to the Kazakh tourism, who will then send you a letter, and this letter you will be able to upload it when you ask your visa. It's an e-visa, so it's a very easy process. And normally within 2 weeks, more or less 2 weeks, you should have also the answers of everything. So that's a very important thing. If you have any question, of course, don't hesitate to ask us. We are there for you. And then, of course, the Travel Kazakhstan, that what just Ellen described, the different hubs from the different places in the world, from Europe, from America, from MENA, from India, China, etc. So this is very practical information. And the last tab, which is also an important tab, you can check here the last news of the conference, and you can register to our newsletter. Please don't hesitate to ask for a registration, because then you will have live information on what's happening to the WLIC. So it will be much easier for you to know the last news and to follow what's happening here. So once again, you should find all the important information here in the website, but don't hesitate if something is missing to tell us. We are grading as per we go, and don't hesitate also to contact us should you have some questions that are not answered in the website. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you all in Astana very soon.
So now we go to your questions. So if you have any questions, you can either put them in the Q&A or the chat. Or if you'd like to ask something in person, if you can perhaps just raise your hand or put that in the chat, and we can make the channel open so that you can speak. But this is your time. If you've got any thoughts or things that you've been thinking about in terms of coming to Astana, then we're happy to answer any questions you have. So there's a question. It looks like there are satellite meetings in Almaty. Is it best to fly to Astana from there or catch a train? I think there are both options, but Piotr, would you like to talk about the best way to get between Almaty and Astana?
It depends on your preferences, because, for example, you can use a flight from Almaty to Astana. It's about 1.5 hours, I guess. It's 1,500 kilometers from Almaty to Astana. But also you can use Talgo. It's like express train, which goes by night, and you can catch this train by night and be in Astana in morning. So
Okay.
it's an option for you.
Okay, and is that with something where you're sitting up, or are there
Sleeping,
lie
yes,
down
it's you can
sleepers?
use such option like coupe. It's
Sleeper.
carriage for people with beds, so you can sleep during your travel from Almaty to Astana.
Right. Okay.
Also,
And
restaurants there and so on.
what are the prices like? Are the prices?
It depends when you buy tickets. Yeah,
Okay.
because of course if you will buy tickets just before departure of train, or maybe 1 week before departure, of course cost of tickets for train will be the same like you buy tickets for flight, for airplane. if you buy tickets for airplane earlier, understand me?
Yes,
The
you get a better
earlier you buy
price.
tickets, the low prices for
Right.
airplane or the train.
Okay, well, that's interesting to know that there's that
Yeah.
nice night train. And I have looked at, I'm also looking at perhaps spending some time afterwards in Kazakhstan and going to Almaty, and I can see that there are different options to get there. And there's
Yeah, but
often
yes,
very
but I would
good
like, yeah, but I would
fast
like to,
trains through the region,
yes,
aren't
yes,
there?
but I would like to say that people who visit Almaty and Astana, of course, will have more good, interesting impressions than just go one city, Astana.
Yes.
Because it's quite different cities with different culture, how to say, soul and so on.
Yeah, and
So
Almaty has also a very long history and a
yes,
very
yes,
different background. If you look at pictures, it's surrounded by mountains and
mountains, yes,
quite beautiful, whereas Astana is really on
flat,
the
yeah.
steppe. It's on the plain, and you know, there's not much around it, which is also a different kind of landscape to be aware of.
Yes,
Although
you're
one
right.
one and a half hour or 2 hours from Astana, I remember I went there just after our visit. There's a fantastic park with a lake, with the mountains, and with the traditional what are culture activities. You know, people showing with the eagles and things. I'm sure Piotr know what I'm
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. Around Almaty, there are very interesting natural sites, and people try to visit them,
Mm,
like mountains, canyons, other, how to say, remarkable places.
yeah. So I think that's something, you know, I think that's something special. Many of us probably know very little about Central Asia and about
Yeah,
countries like Kazakhstan, and yet they have this very long nomad tradition that Piotr talked about, um, which is very ancient, and they're still very wed to many of their cultural practices, horsemanship, having eagles as hunting
yeah.
kind of I don't want to say pets, but using eagles for hunting, um, and a range of great things like yurts and you know, the traditional architecture. A lot of that you'll see, of course, in museums, but it's also an opportunity to make the most of your visit to this particular area of the world. And for IFLA, it's also something very special to be going to a part of the world where we haven't had a lot of interaction with librarians, so, or with librarians and with the profession in that region. And we hope that this will lead to
Yeah.
more in the area.
Also, I would like to note that about 250 kilometers from Astana, there is, how to say, nature park, Boranbay. Boranbay, it's a very attractive place for resort. I mean, there are mountains, lakes, forests there. So people try to visit this place, resort area during summer.
Yeah,
So if participants of the WLIC will have time, I would advise them to visit this natural park.
I think that was the one that Alain was talking about. So
I think so. You can sleep. They are nice bungalows for tourists and very nice,
Yeah,
beautifully done.
yeah.
So just another comment, is this being recorded? Yes, it is. So you'll be able to watch back later. Also, just one of the things to say, as we mentioned, you know, it's summer. August will be summer in Astana. It's very pleasant to be out and about in the city, but it's also very, very safe. When we were there, you know, it was very safe to walk around in the evening. lots of people are out walking about and kind of enjoying the weather and the restaurants and cafes and things like that. So it's like a big modern city, but not one that's too crowded. We also found that in August, the traffic was much less than at other times. So it was quite easy to get around the city as well. So, you know, if you're coming and you're feeling, you know, concerned about going to some strange place, this is a very modern city. It's very safe. You know, there's not a lot of crime or anything like that. And you should feel very safe. Being out and about in the city.
Also, I would like to thank all attendees of the webinar for their time, attention, and how to say, I would like to note that we live in a very special time. And I think, first of all, Kazakhstan, it's a quite unique country on the library globe. And I think you, as participants of the WLIC, will get new inspiration, maybe rethink your activities, rethink your life, and so on. Because I moved from Belarus to Kazakhstan, to a very different country, a unique country, and for me, it was the basis for rethinking my professional activity, sense of life, and so on, so on. And also, I would like to say that we live in a very unpredictable time, and WLIC maybe is the only one opportunity to show and feel consolidarity of our professional, international professional community. I think it's very important for librarians in these times. Sorry for my...
Thank you, Peter. It is. Someone sending a nice reaction and a heart. And yes, it is a case, you know, WLIC is about having the sessions and things, but it's really about coming together. And one of the things we're doing in the program is to make sure that there's enough time and space, not only to be going from session to session, but to have time to sit and talk and meet with other people from a range of regions across the world, but particularly from places around Asia, Oceania. So we hope that there will be people from China, from India, from the Gulf states, because Japan, Korea, these are places that are very close to Kazakhstan, and it's not a long way for them to come comparatively. I know everywhere is a long way from some places, but you know, we're hoping that we'll really get a good mix of people. And again, we know that some of our American, Canadian colleagues are looking at coming as well as Europeans. But it is a place for us all to come together and you know, meet and discuss and to look at those things that challenge us, but also our successes and what we're doing well to support communities around the world. So on that note, I think as there aren't any other questions, we'll finish up and say thank you to those of you who've attended. We hope it's been useful, and we look forward to seeing you in Astana.
Welcome to Kazakhstan.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good day,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.